Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. Yes, we are very late to the party on this one. Game week 29 is when we're starting our EFL Championship predictions. But after seeing how well you guys responded to James' Premier League predictions and you're enjoying those, I wanted to do the Championship ones. I love the Championship. It's the most competitive league in the world. And I thought, you know what, let's start weekly predictions. So, guys, if this is something you well enjoy, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel as well if you're new here, just as a way of letting me know it's something I should continue with. So we've got 12 fixtures to get on with, so let's not waste any more time. First on, coming on to Huddersfield versus Stoke. Obviously, Huddersfield sixth in the table at the moment, having a wonderful year, really. They really are. But with Stoke, obviously, Stoke are currently 6 points off them, but do have a game in hand. Huddersfield got the first win of the season, actually, in this game, the last game week, in a 7-goal thriller. 4-3 is how it ended against Reading. And Stoke have lost the last two as well. I'm going to continue with that. I think Stoke will unfortunately lose this one as well, with Huddersfield being at home. My first prediction is going to be a 2-1 Huddersfield win for this one. So let's move straight on to Hull versus Swansea City. Hull currently sitting, well, both teams actually sitting in the bottom half of the table, aren't they? No real danger. And Hull actually are beating both Bournemouth and Blackburn in the last two fixtures. They're having quite a good run in at the moment, aren't they? Swansea only one win in their last 5. Hull are at home as well. So I am going to go for a Hull win. And I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Hull City on this one. Let's jump into QPR versus Reading. Reading, no wins in 5, 4 of those being losses, and of course quite near the relegation zone as well. QPR, the opposite actually, no losses, 4 wins and 1 draw. Again, QPR are the home team, and given the current form, I only actually see this going one way. I'm going to go for a 3-1, I think, to QPR in this one. 3 fixtures gone, and I've not said any draws. We come on to Barnsley versus Bournemouth, and I'm sorry, Barnsley fans, this one also is not going to be a draw prediction. Obviously, Bournemouth are, higher end of the table. Barnsley, obviously, such a downturn, isn't it, from last season? It was really good to see what they were doing, getting into the playoffs. Sadly, this time, languishing at the bottom of the table, level with Derby, of course, but Derby have had a lot of points deduction. I'll be honest, I can only see this going one way. It is the Championship, though, but I am going to go for a 3-0 Bournemouth win. I do feel that Bournemouth will be wanting to bounce back, sort of because they were at the top of the table for such a long time. It looked like they were running away with the league. It really did. But yeah, 3-0 to Bournemouth. Moving on to Middlesbrough versus Coventry. And now this is an interesting one. This is 8th versus 9th in the table. Middlesbrough on good form, actually, winning 4 wins in their last 5. Coventry, 1-0 narrow win over the Midlands rivals Stoke. Obviously, their last game that was. Who am I going to go for? In fact, I haven't gave a draw yet, so I am going to go for a draw. I do think there'll be goals in this one, though, so I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw on this one. Let's move on. Let's go to Millwall versus West Brom. West Brom, of course, losing to Preston North End 2-0 last night, wasn't it, at the Hawthorns. They were away to Millwall in this fixture. And yeah, West Brom fans weren't too happy, booing, signalling to the manager that they wanted him gone, also shouting for the name of Slaven Bilic as well. They're really not happy with how things have gone, and you can see why, slipping down the table, really not in a good run of form. Millwall, on the other hand, I guess they've only actually won 1 goal in won 1 of the last 5 themselves. But funny enough, every time they have lost, they've only lost by the 1 goal. So I'm not going to go for this one. I think Millwall I think West Brom are in a good way at the moment. I'm going to go Millwall 2-1 on this. Just a funny feeling. Luton Town versus Blackburn is our next game. Blackburn flying high. Fans starting to come back. Obviously, not much joy under the Venky era. And Luton Town pushing for a playoff position. They've actually got a couple of games in hand on Huddersfield. in sixth. And I believe Luton Town are only 6 points behind them. So this is a really interesting game. I'm sure Blackburn will want to be keeping a bit of momentum going. And I am going to go for a very narrow Blackburn win. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Blackburn win on this one. But Luton are having an absolutely superb season. And both of these clubs, actually, it'll be interesting to see if they do end up in the promised land of the Premier League come next season. Moving on to Preston North End versus Bristol City. Now, this is one where Preston obviously beating West Brom, didn't they, 2-0. It's an average season for Bristol City, really. No relegation, no promotion. You kind of feel they're too far away from promotion. But, it's the Championship, isn't it? A massive run of form. Maybe they could sneak into those playoff positions. But I can't really see it myself, if I'm being very honest, Bristol City fans. With Preston being at home and off the back of a win against West Brom, that away win, I think spirits will be high, and I am going to go for a Preston North End win. I'm going to say 3-1 on this one to Preston North End. Moving on to Fulham versus Blackpool. And now look, Fulham have scored 22 goals in 4 games that they've played in 2022 in the league. And Fulham, well, in 3 of those games, they've scored 6, 7 and 7. Doesn't leave Blackpool with too much hope, does it, in all honesty? Blackpool, the only hope I can give you, of course, is 3 wins in your last 5. You're not on a bad run of form. But with Fulham being at home and the goal-scoring form they're on at the moment, I do think Blackpool will get a goal. I think they'll get 2 goals, actually. But I do think Fulham will be firing on all cylinders. I'm going to go 4-2 on this one. I think there'll be goals in this. I really do. Moving on to Peterborough United versus Sheffield United. Well, Sheffield United have started to climb back up the table, haven't they, actually, after a not a too great start to the season. And yeah, they've started to come into a bit more form, obviously changing the manager as well. And Peterborough United, on the other hand, currently sitting in the relegation zone. I think they do have a game in hand, if I'm not mistaken, on those below them, above them rather. But it's not looking great for Peterborough at the moment. I do think it's going to be an away win on this. I've only predicted 1 draw so far, which feels a bit unrealistic. But I am going to go for a 2-1 Sheffield United win. I think they're on good form and will continue to rise up the table. Moving on to Derby County versus Birmingham City. Well, I mean, look, both of these clubs are going through horrible times, but I'm sure everyone watching this will agree. Derby are going through an absolutely horrendous time at the moment, a risk of losing their club. As a football fan, I want to do more to help. I don't know what we can do, but it's absolutely horrible to see. And I really do hope, Derby fans, you guys save your club. Rooney, one positive, I guess, from the football side is it looks like Wayne Rooney will not be off to Everton. And that has to be a positive in itself. And still, within a fighting chance, as long as the EFL doesn't bugger over Derby once again, and let's pray for them that the club don't go into liquidation, of staying in the EFL Championship next season. Birmingham, on the other hand, of course, not in relegation or anything, but I've seen pictures of the ground falling apart, rotting, etc. Suggestions that they might move to the Commonwealth Games Stadium once everything's all said and done. But again, not happy, protests against the owner, and you can see why, to be honest. This one, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and that's not just because I haven't thrown many draws. I do just fancy the points to be shared in this one. And now finally, I think this is our last fixture. We come on to Cardiff versus Forest. 2 very big clubs. Forest have actually rejected a record bid, haven't they, in the coming days for their midfielder Brennan Johnson, who looks an absolute star. No wonder that Forest want to keep him because, one, to push that promotional charge, trying to get into the playoffs or maybe even higher. And secondly, obviously I feel Forest will get a lot more for him in the summer by keeping him, to be honest. Cardiff not in a great run of form. No wins in their last 5, actually. I see this as a Nottingham Forest win, and I'm going to go 3-0 on this one. So, guys, that has been all the championship predictions. As I say, let me know, do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. And if it's the type of video that you'd enjoy, also let me know as well, so we know to keep these videos going. And hopefully you do like them, and hopefully I'll be doing them again for the next game week fixtures. Goodbye.